Alright everyone, back again. Another day, another movie review. Just got out of work a little bit ago, early shift today, so I went and saw the incredible Burt Wonderstone. Going into this movie based on the previews, I wasn't really expecting much from it. The only reason I went to see it is because I get to see it for free. And there wasn't really, out of the options I had to see, that I could see today within the time frame that I was going to see a movie, this was the better choice out of what I could see, without waiting like 2 or 3 hours to go see something better. So I was like, well, I'll go see this movie and, maybe it'll be funny. It's supposed to be a comedy, so, this part where we get into the premise, so I'm going to basically do a recap of the movie, so if you don't want anything spoiled for you, this is where you should turn away. Before I get into that, I will say the movie, as far as I'm concerned, was just kind of it was an easy way to kill, hour and a half, but other than that, not really much. So, on to the spoilers, or the premise, or whatever we want to call this part. So, it starts out with young Burt Wonderstone, whose name is like Albert Weisenstein, or something like that, some Jewish name, or Wilderstein, something like that. He's running down the street, and then you see that he's being chased by a bunch of other kids. They finally corner him in front of his house, of all things, and they basically, tell him that he's a loser, punch him in the stomach, blah, 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 and then they leave. So, then he walks into the house, and you're kind of wondering, well, if he's right in front of his own house, why didn't one of his parents come out and say something, especially when your kid gets slugged in the stomach? So he goes in, and he hollers for his mom, he wasn't going to tell her what happened. He was just like, Mom, I'm home, type of thing. And he doesn't call to his dad, so I don't think his dad was around. I think it was a single-parent home. And you find out that his mother wasn't home because she had to work a double shift. Apparently, as a single parent, you have to work as much as you can to provide, and sometimes that means not being around. But it's Bert's birthday, and she says, the note says that dinner's in the fridge, and I got you a cake, it's on the counter. So it goes over, and it's a box of cake mix. So basically he has to make his own cake. And then the rest of her letter is basically instruction list of how to prepare a cake, which was probably printed on the side of the box. Then it goes to where he opens up his present, and it's the magic set. He watches it, he becomes amazed, he starts practicing magic. He makes another friend in school who sees him do a magic trick and is like, wow, that was cool, and then they become friends. Then it kind of skips ahead a little while to as they're becoming famous magicians. They're on like Johnny Carson or something, and a few other things, kind of speeds through. Then it cuts to a few years later, they're performing at a casino in Vegas. Then jumps ahead a few more years, and basically they're doing the same show they've been doing for, I think it was like 10 years later. And the crowd's still there, but it's slowly dwindling. And then you see that Burt has kind of let the fame go to his head. He's, arrogant. He doesn't think he needs his partner anymore, type of thing. One of their female assistants quits, and he goes, good, go ahead and quit, you're easy to replace, you think you're the first assistant we've had. And then he calls out to another girl, and that's just standing there, she's like a stagehand. He's like, you're the assistant now. So that introduces the love interest for later. Then there's this new street magician who's played by Jim Carrey. Basically doing like a David Blaine or Chris Angel type of thing. Except Chris Angel's a little bit more impressive than the stuff this guy was doing. So everyone starts getting into the street magic thing, which a little over the top. It's basically just him mutilating himself, and for some reason people are impressed by it. So Burt's sales completely die out, and they're basically about to get canned from the casino unless they can come up with a new act. So his partner comes up with this new act, which is basically, let's just sit in this box suspended above the parking lot for a week. And they prepare everything, they get into the box, and turns out Burt never came to the rehearsals for it. Again, he's egotistical at this point. And so that's the little panic bit that they show you in the preview. After that stunt goes wrong, the friendship ends, his partner takes off and goes and does something. Just watch. Oh, he takes the money that he saved and goes overseas to bring magic to starving children in Haiti or something like that. Or it was in Africa, somewhere. Someplace there's starving children with bad water. So he takes some magic sets. And Burt, since he's kicked out of the casino, he's living in a little piece of crap hole-in-the-wall hotel. And the only job he can get is entertaining old folks at an old folks home. So he goes down there and finds out that the magician whose magic set he got as a kid is staying at the old folks home. And he tries to befriend the old man. The old man doesn't want anything to do with him. Finally, he worms his way in good with him, which wasn't really too much. He just kind of kept bugging him until the guy gave in. And then through becoming friends with this old man, he kind of realizes, like, when his passion died was for the magic and it all started to seem routine, that's when he became egotistical. And he kind of gets back in touch with reality, makes nice with the love interest, eventually reunites with his partner, and there's a little back and forth magic battle between Burt and the street magician whose name I can't remember. It's like Steve Gray or something like that. So they have a little back and forth at the owner of the casino's son's birthday party. And after that, we find out that the owner of the casino is going to put on a big magic show, and whoever has the most impressive act is the person that's going to get a 5-year contract as the main performer at his new casino that he's opening. So then they have the Jim Carrey character comes on and does a stupid stunt and that leaves, and then Burt and his partner come on and do a big magic show, and that's the impressive one. They get the contract, so on and so forth. That's kind of it. Not really a whole lot to it. It's kind of like I said, it's kind of an type of movie, kind of bland. Yeah, not really much of, like, why Burt started to act the way he did, other than, they've been doing it for like 10, or no, more than, probably like 10, or I think they said 30 years they'd been friends. So, they've been doing the act, and maybe he was just getting tired, and like I said, he lost the thrill for the magic, because they were just doing the same thing over and over and over again. So, that and the money went to his head, I guess. But they never really went into any of that. They didn't really go into... I kind of thought that eventually it would go into the Jim Carrey character was actually the bully from when he was a kid, and as a way of continuing to try to bully, Burt would be to... you see that he's become something, then you try to become what he is, but better, to kind of flush him out. That wasn't the case with this. They never made any tie back to the other kid who was bullying him. Unless I missed it, but I don't think there was. So yeah, there wasn't really much of a story to it other than a washed-up magician realizes that he lost his passion and gets it back. There were a few good one-liners in it. Like at one point, what was it? He's arguing with the owner of the casino, saying that the street magician's not a magician. All he does is mumble and cut himself, and then he says, "If that's all it takes to impress you, I have a 13-year-old niece that does the same thing," or something like that, which made me chuckle. But I think a lot of the other people that were in the theater tonight missed that joke because no one really laughed at it except me. But then another guy that was down the row from me, he kept laughing at some stuff that just wasn't funny at all. A lot of the rest of the people that were there didn't laugh at all on any of it. Another one-liner was like when his mother had the cake mix sitting on the counter, and it's given the instructions of how to make the cake. It's like mix 2 eggs and 2 tablespoons of oil into the batter mix, and then it says something like, "Oh, by the way, we're out of eggs, so you'll have to go out and get some." So not only does he have to make his own birthday cake, he has to go shopping for ingredients. Just little quips like that were kind of funny throughout the thing. The over-the-top acting wasn't really that funny. What's the guy's name? Steve Carell, I think. If I remember his name right, he plays Burt Wonderstone. His over-the-top acting's only good in certain movies. Other movies, it's like, really, you're doing this shtick again. So, yeah. If we're going to stick with the star rating thing I created on the last couple videos, I would give this... what did I give the last one? Last one I gave 2.5. I'd probably give this one 2.5 stars again. I said it wasn't anything majorly impressive, but it had a few things that made me laugh in it, and I don't want to say it kept me entertained, but it didn't bore me. I wasn't disappointed that I saw it. I wasn't like, "Oh, that was the worst movie ever. I want my money back." So, yeah, about 2.5. I guess on my scale, maybe 2. Well, about 2.5. We'll stick with 2.5. I was considering dropping it down to a 2, but I like it about evenly with what was the last movie I did? The Call. So, yeah, about 2.5 stars. Not really much else to say about it. I'm just kind of rambling now about stars. So, yeah, not sure what the next movie I'm going to get to see is. I want to check out Jack the Giant Slayer and Oz the Great and Powerful, and a couple other things that are coming out, or that are out, that I haven't got a chance to see yet. One thing that I did like when I went to see this movie tonight, I got a new trailer that I haven't seen 100 times since I work in the theater. It was the first trailer I've seen for Kick-Ass Part 2. So, I know I haven't done too many of these movie reviews and whatnot, but I like comic book movies, so I have most of my collection is probably based on comic books, whether it's live action, animation, TV series, whatever. Although there are a few TV series that I didn't get into, like Smallville. So yeah, the new Kick-Ass movie's coming out. It looks pretty good from the preview. Looks like it'll actually be better than the first one. Which I like the first one, so saying it's going to be better is pretty good. But yeah, other than that, it was all the same previews I've seen for a while. That's the only new one I really saw tonight. So that about wraps this one up. Like I said, not sure what the next movie I'm going to get to see will be. Gotta go get some work done on my car over the next day or two, so I probably won't see any more movies until sometime next week, whenever I have an early shift. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode of movie reviews.